Most families building for multiple generations make one strong design decision and stop one step too early. That decision is usually the U-shape. Architects recommend it. Builders pitch it. If you've watched the previous videos on this channel, you already know the numbers support it. It's a genuinely strong design. Here's what stops at the edge of that conversation. The U-shape is not the last design decision. It's the second to last one. There is a configuration that does everything the U-shape does, and then adds two structural features that no amount of renovation can add after the slab is poured. A second outdoor space. A genuinely neutral shared zone. Acoustic separation built into the footprint itself. Not installed, not upgraded, built in. The configuration is called the H-shaped Barndominium. Most families never hear it mentioned at the consultation. This video is about why, and why the answer comes down to a single architectural principle I want to call the crossbar. 1 in 5 Americans is currently living in a multi-generational household. 1 in 5, that's roughly 67 million people, a number larger than the entire population of France. It has nearly doubled since 1980. The Pew Research Center has tracked it continuously, and the trend line doesn't reverse. Student debt, housing costs, aging parents who need proximity without dependence. The reasons aren't complicated. The math just keeps pointing in the same direction. What that means for barndominium design is that the shape decision determines whether 3 generations can actually live together, or whether they slowly make each other miserable and somebody moves out. Most families get the shape wrong, not because they're not thoughtful, because the builder shows them what's easy to build, and the H shape is the hardest shape to build. More engineering hours, more roofline decisions, more site planning before the first conversation is even finished. That's why you never see it on page 1 of the catalog. That's why most families never hear it mentioned at all. On this channel, we've already spent time on L-shaped and U-shaped barndominium design, the trade-offs, the desire lines, the cost math. Links are in the description if you want that context. Whether you're coming in fresh or you've watched those, this video picks up at the next question. The H-shaped barndominium is exactly what it looks like. 4 wings connected by a central crossbar, the horizontal middle of the H. The result is 2 courtyards, 1 on each side, 4 distinct zones. The crossbar connecting everything. That crossbar is the thing. Everything about why the H-shape works comes back to it. Architects call the middle section of an H-shaped home the neutral zone, the part of the building that belongs equally to everyone because it belongs to no one's private territory. I want to use a more precise term. I'm calling it the crossbar principle. The crossbar principle is this. In any multi-generational home, the quality of shared life is determined by whether the gathering space is structurally neutral, equidistant from every private zone, owned by no one, reachable by everyone without crossing anyone else's territory. The H-shaped barndominium is the only configuration that builds that into the foundation before a single wall goes up. Reason 1. 2 courtyards. The number one source of daily friction in multi-generational households isn't the kitchen, it isn't the driveway, it isn't noise through the walls, it's outdoor space. Specifically, it's what happens when different generations with incompatible schedules and incompatible uses all have claim to the same territory. Grandparents who want a garden, teenagers who want a basketball hoop, parents who want to drink their coffee in silence before 6 people start talking to them. All of it converges on one courtyard, and the courtyard becomes a negotiation every single day. The U-shaped barndominium, which we've covered on this channel, and which is genuinely a strong multi-generational design, gives you one courtyard. The design assumes the family will share it harmoniously. Most families start out intending to. The H-shaped barndominium gives you 2 courtyards. The left courtyard is naturally associated with the left wings. The right courtyard is naturally associated with the right wings. This is where the design starts doing something no other barndominium configuration can. It gives each family unit their own outdoor room without requiring extra land, a fence, or an awkward conversation about whose patio furniture goes where. This isn't a conflict problem, it's a design problem. One courtyard is asked to do what two courtyards do. Reason 2. The crossbar as neutral ground. Think about where the living room lands in a U-shaped barndominium, usually in the center wing, which means it's physically closer to one family's bedrooms than the others. You walk past one family's hallway to reach the shared kitchen. You pass someone's bedroom door every time you go for a glass of water at night. The shared space exists, but it's never quite equidistant. Someone always has more proximity to it. Someone always feels slightly more like a guest in their own house. Christopher Alexander documented this in a pattern language published 1977, still accurate, and called it the crossing path problem. Homes that force family members to pass through each other's primary territories create what he described as low-level daily friction. It doesn't announce itself as a problem. It just makes shared living feel slightly exhausting in a way that's hard to articulate and nearly impossible to fix without changing the structure. In an H-shaped barndominium, the crossbar is shared space that genuinely belongs to no one's wing. Left-wing grandparents walk to it from one direction. Right-wing adult children walk to it from the other. Nobody passes through anyone else's bedroom hallway. Nobody feels like they're entering someone else's home to reach the dinner table. That's not a small thing when you're talking about 20 years under one roof. If you're in the planning phase right now and you want to understand the full shape comparison, L, U, and now H, this channel has covered each one. Subscribe so you don't miss the comparison video that's coming next. 2 more reasons, and the last one is the one that changes the math entirely. Reason 3. Acoustic separation. This is the reason nobody puts in the floor plan brochure. In a barndominium with a steel frame, sound travels efficiently through the structure. This is known, and the solutions, insulation, decoupled drywall, acoustic underlayment, help. But they treat the symptom. The cause is that adjacent wings share structural material, and structural material conducts vibration. Stand inside the grandparents' wing of a U-shaped barndominium at 6:15 on a Tuesday morning. The household on the other side of the shared wall is waking up. You don't hear words, you hear the bass register of a life in motion, a shower, footsteps, the specific percussion of someone getting coffee. It accumulates. You start setting your alarm earlier just to have quiet before the house wakes up. Then you realize you're sleeping less than you did before you moved in. In an H-shaped barndominium, the wings are separated by open courtyards. Sound traveling from the grandchildren's wing to the grandparents' wing has to pass through a wall, cross 20 feet of open air, and pass through another wall. Open air is the most effective acoustic buffer that exists. It's free, requires no installation, and doesn't degrade over time. The H-shape doesn't just separate families visually. The courtyards are built-in silence. Reason 4. 4 zones for the family you actually have. L-shaped gives you 2 zones. U-shaped gives you 3. H-shaped gives you 4. Here's why 4 matters in 2026 specifically. The Census Bureau data is clear. About 26% of multi-generational households include 3 or more generations. But the configurations vary significantly inside that number, and they change over time. Year 1, grandparents in the left back wing, adult daughter's family in the right back wing. Crossbar as shared living, left front wing as guest suite or home office. Year 5, adult son's family moves back. Left front wing becomes their zone. 4 families, 4 zones. Nobody has to share a hallway or reconfigure the house to make room. Year 12, the grandparents need accessibility modifications, wider doorways, a roll-in shower, grab bars. Those changes happen within their wing. The rest of the household doesn't live through the construction. The zones are independent enough that renovation in one doesn't propagate through the others. L and U both run out of zones before the family does. The fourth zone, the one that no other Barndominium configuration offers, is the margin that handles whatever the family becomes. Most builders won't bring this up. Not because they don't know, because designing for 4 zones requires more engineering time, more roofline complexity, more site planning. It's harder to quote, harder to build, and harder to explain in a 30-minute consultation. The catalog shows what's easy to sell. The H shape doesn't make that list. Reason 5. The crossbar changes with the family. The family you have when you pour the slab is not the family you'll have in 15 years. Grandparents age into different needs. Adult children leave and come back. Grandchildren grow up. The configuration that made sense in 2026 looks different in 2033 and probably unrecognizable by 2041. In L-shaped and U-shaped Barndominiums, when the family changes, the structure resists. A wing repurposed from grandparents' suite to rental unit requires reconfiguration that affects the shared spaces. A living room split between 2 families doesn't split cleanly. In an H-shaped Barndominium, the crossbar absorbs the changes. You can reconfigure what the crossbar does: shared dining, co-working space, a suite for returning adult children, without touching the wings. You can reconfigure any wing without touching the crossbar. When a generation is gone, a wing becomes a rental unit with its own entrance from its own courtyard. The rest of the household never interacts with it. The H shape is built for the family you'll be, not just the family you are. That distinction is worth more than any specific feature on the floor plan. An H-shaped Barndominium costs more to build than a U-shaped one. More roofline complexity, more linear feet of exterior wall, more foundation corners. Industry estimates put the premium at roughly 20 to 30%. On a $400,000 project, that's between $80,000 and $120,000. Here's the comparison that changes that math. The alternative for families who need genuine multi-generational independence is building a separate structure, an accessory dwelling unit, a guest house, a second Barndominium on the same property. Depending on size, finish level, and location, that runs between $150,000 and $350,000, plus separate utility connections, plus the fact that it's physically separate, no crossbar, no neutral gathering space, no way for 3 generations to share a dinner table without driving to each other's front door. The H-shape delivers 4 independent zones, 2 private courtyards, and 1 genuine shared gathering spine for 20 to 30% more than a U-shape. The H-shape is not the expensive option. It's the expensive-looking option that is actually the more cost-effective solution when you account for what it replaces. There's a family in Tennessee, I'll call them the Marshalls, who finished their U-shaped Barndominium in October 2024. 3 weeks after move-in, the grandmother called the architect. "The courtyard is beautiful," she told him, "but it belongs to the grandchildren." She meant it literally. 6-year-old twins had claimed the space on day 2. The solution the family found was a planted hedge, dividing the courtyard into 2 informal zones. It helped. The grandchildren use one side, the grandparents use the other. The hedge requires maintenance. It provides no acoustic separation. And it can't do the thing the H-shape does structurally: give both courtyards a private entrance, a private orientation, a relationship to a wing that belongs to the people who use it. It's a workaround for a design problem that should have been solved before the slab was poured. The crossbar principle isn't complicated. A home designed for multiple generations needs neutral shared ground, separate private ground, and outdoor space that belongs to each family without negotiation. The H-shape builds all of that into the geometry, no hedges required. If you're designing for multiple generations right now, drop in the comments how many and what stage you're at. I read every one.